Hello, Cloud Dwellers, and welcome back to Blue Cloud University. Now, this week's video is an exploration of the kinds of questions that may pop up during a certification exam, and in particular, the Marketing Cloud Email Specialist exam. And what I want to be able to do is provide you with a deeper understanding when you approach questions like this as to why certain answers are absolutely not going to work and why the right answer is the right answer. Now, let's take a look at this week's question.
This question asks, Hyperion Motors has been receiving complaints from customers that their emails take a long time to load and open. How could the company solve this problem? The first answer we have available says, we can decrease the length of the email subject line to under 50 characters. Is that a solution? Let's check it out. Now, in looking at an email client, for example, I have Gmail open in front of us here, we can see when the subject line comes in, we have a number of different characters showing up. Now, some of these are much shorter subject lines. Some of them are a little bit longer. And in the instance of Gmail, it will show the entire subject line. And the reality is that the length of the subject line has nothing to do with how quickly this email will load in. There are some best practices. There are schools of thought that say a shorter subject line won't get truncated in certain email clients, in which case you won't be able to see what the entire question or offer is. And in other cases, a lot of people will look at it and their brain will go, it's too long, didn't read. But there's nothing here to quantify that answer to say that if we had a shorter subject line, it would help these emails load in more quickly. So getting back to here, number one, not a very good answer for us to work with. Let's take a look at number two. Now, answer number two says we should check the size of the images used in the email and make sure there are less than 1 megabyte of images in total. So what does this mean from the sake of what we're trying to do, and is this the solution to this problem? Now, if I'm working in Marketing Cloud and I import an image into Marketing Cloud for use in an email, I can use that as one of my assets. So these are different images that I've brought in and I may want to use on my emails. Now, let's just say that the size of one of these images when I brought it in was rather large. Let's say it was 5 megabytes. If I were to use this image in my email, it's going to automatically mean that this email has at least 5 megabytes of memory being taken up by that single image. As a result, when I send this email out the door, it's going to be a very large file, and it's going to take a much longer time for the recipient to download or even open it because the file itself is small. Again, best practice here is to make sure that when we bring images in, that the images are kept to a certain capacity. We don't want to go larger than we need to. Make sure they're sized perfectly for the elements that we're using within the email. So in this scenario, that is a very viable answer. And making sure that the size of the images being used could be something that helps to solve the problem of long load and open times by recipients. Let's take a look at the third answer. The third answer says there are too many people receiving the email at once. The company should toggle send throttling on and reduce the number of emails being sent out per hour. Now, just to clarify, send throttling is a function and a feature that is available within Marketing Cloud. Let me show you how we toggle it on. Now, one of the advantages I have working as Salesforce as an admin is I can go up to my name as an admin and I can select the setup function. And what this allows me to do is to go to the back end and set some parameters. What I want to be able to do is come in here and I want to select where it says feature settings. And this allows me to drill down more specifically into some of the different applications that are part of Marketing Cloud. In this case, if I drill down into Email Studio, what I'm looking for is a selection called Email Optional Features. And when I click on this, there are a series of different toggles that I may choose for our org depending upon our org's needs. And one of those is send throttling. So I can turn send throttling on or turn it off as needed. What send throttling allows me to do is when I'm sending emails out to choose the pace at which the emails are being sent. Now think about this from a use case standpoint. Let's say I'm an organization that is promoting some upcoming events for a weekend, a Friday night, Saturday night, that's our big push. And so we want to make sure that a lot of the messages go out Friday morning, Saturday morning. And so we can set send throttling so that more messages go out in the mornings of those days, but less in the evenings because it's not as relevant. Because at that point, the opportunity is passed. And the thing is, this just allows us to keep a different pace on the emails going out the door. So this is how we set it up and turn it on. However, is that the answer we're looking for? And I would argue that in this case, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the pace of how emails are being sent out from us, because the people who are receiving the emails in their email clients from their internet service providers are going to be varied. It's going to be all over the place. And it has nothing to do with how we send emails out that is going to affect whether or not they're able to open those emails. So in this case, I would suggest that this is a nonsensical answer of sorts, and we should probably just leave it alone. So once again, the final answer we want to look here is to make sure that the amount of content we put into an email is restricted. Otherwise, larger file sizes going out the door are going to get in the way of people's ability to load and open those emails.